Have you ever experienced something so strange you couldn't explain it? That's been my life for as long as I can remember. I've always had this peculiar knack for sensing things before they happen. It's like flipping on the radio and knowing precisely the tune that's about to play next. Some might call it intuition, but it's more than just a gut feeling. It's a vivid, unmistakable image that springs into my mind unbidden and unavoidable. And it's not just me. Over the years, I've met others who share similar uncanny abilities. My old band's lead guitarist, for instance, always claimed he could hear people's thoughts. His daughter inherited his gift, but with a twist. She could see auras. Then there's Jean, the woman who sold me my house. She had a unique talent for sensing spirits and helping them pass on to the afterlife. And let's not forget Charles, a friend of over 10 years who always knows when someone is about to call him. These experiences, though strange, felt commonplace to me. They were just part of the fabric of my life, woven into my everyday existence. I thought everyone had these abilities, these flashes of insight that came from somewhere beyond the realm of the ordinary. But as I grew older, I realized that these experiences weren't as common as I thought. I began to understand that what I and my friends experienced was far from ordinary. It was eerie, unsettling, and often hard to believe. These abilities seemed to wane as I matured, or perhaps I just learned to ignore them. But after I had my son, things took a strange turn. I won't delve into details now. That's a story for another time. But suffice it to say, my life hasn't been the same since. As I got older, I realized that these experiences weren't as common as I thought. This realization didn't make them any less real or impactful. Instead, it made me question what I knew about the world and my place in it. I began to see that there was more to life than what meets the eye. And while I may not have all the answers, I'm committed to exploring these mysteries and sharing my journey with you. But could all of this be mere coincidence? I found myself asking. As a self-proclaimed skeptic, I was no stranger to doubt. I was constantly questioning, forever debating the validity of these peculiar experiences. For every eerie prediction, every unexpected vision, I had a logical counter-argument ready. Maybe it's just a well-tuned intuition, I reasoned. Or perhaps it's a subconscious understanding of patterns that makes it seem like I'm predicting the next song on the radio. I told myself that these abilities were nothing more than an overactive imagination or a string of uncanny coincidences. I even began to question the experiences of my friends. Could they too be victims of their own imaginations? Were they just exaggerating ordinary events, adding a dash of the supernatural for dramatic effect? The guitarist who claimed to hear thoughts? The friend who sensed the dead? The one who saw ominous shadows around people? Were they all just spinning tales? The idea that we were all just making this up was easier to swallow than the alternative. It was simpler to dismiss these experiences as flights of fancy rather than entertain the possibility of the paranormal. After all, I was a skeptic, not a believer. I was comfortable in my world of logic and reason, where every event had an explanation, where there were no mysterious forces at play. But then, I considered my husband's chilling encounter with his future self. How could I explain that away? How could I dismiss the terror in his eyes as he recounted the event? It was almost as if my skepticism was being challenged, as if the universe was daring me to keep denying the existence of these abilities. I was convinced that all of this was just in my head, but then something happened that I couldn't explain away. My skepticism was shaken, my doubts were mounting, and I was left grappling with a reality that was far stranger than I had ever imagined. One night, everything changed. In the dead of night, under the faint glow of the nightlight, I found myself stirring from sleep. The hour was late, the world outside was still, and within the quiet confines of our home, something felt amiss. My eyes slowly adjusted to the dim light, and I found my gaze drawn to an unusual sight, the back of my bedroom door. This might seem inconsequential to most, but, you see, there was something odd about the door that night. It was shut. Now, you might be wondering why a closed door would be of any significance. Well, let me tell you, we had a strict rule in our house. We never shut our bedroom door at night, ever. It was one of those unspoken agreements between my husband and me, a subtle nod to our shared understanding of the unusual experiences we'd had. This rule was especially important considering our young son, a rather terrible sleeper, whose room was just down the hall. Since we didn't have a baby monitor at the time, it was vital that we could hear him. We needed to be able to respond quickly if he woke up in the middle of the night. So you see, a closed bedroom door was not just unusual, it was downright alarming. I remember sitting up in bed, my heart pounding in my chest, as I stared at the door. The bathrobes hung on the back of the door, a silent testament to the fact that the door was indeed closed. The sight of those robes, bathed in the soft glow of the nightlight, was a stark reminder of the rule we never broke. Yet there it was, a closed door in the middle of the night. In the stillness of that night, as I sat there in the dim light, I felt a chill run down my spine. It wasn't just the unusual sight of a closed door that unsettled me, it was something else, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. But one thing was clear, something was different, something had changed. The door was shut, and I knew that we never shut our bedroom door. What happened next was even more baffling. The event had left an indelible mark, not just on the walls of reality, but on the canvas of my understanding. The immediate aftermath was a whirlwind of confusion and disbelief. I found myself grappling with questions that seemed to multiply with each fleeting moment. The rational part of my mind was desperately attempting to explain away the inexplicable, to find some semblance of normality in the extraordinary. I pondered possibilities, from sleep deprivation to the power of suggestion. Could exhaustion have conjured up such vivid experiences? Could the stories of my friends have implanted seeds of imagination that had grown into full-blown hallucinations? Yet, no amount of rationalizing could erase the clarity and the intensity of the event. It was like trying to deny the brightness of the sun at midday. The impact of the event seeped into my daily life, subtly altering my perception of the world around me. It was as if I had been given a new lens to view reality, one that revealed the shadows lurking behind the apparent. The familiar became unfamiliar, the ordinary became extraordinary, and the world as I knew it was turned upside down. Personal beliefs I held dear were shaken to their core. The firm ground of skepticism I had always stood on suddenly felt like shifting sands. I was forced to reconsider the validity of my friends' claims about their abilities. If something so bizarre could happen to me, who was I to dismiss their experiences as mere flights of fancy? The aftermath of the event was a journey of introspection and enlightenment. It made me question the boundaries of human potential and the mysteries of the mind. It challenged my understanding of what is possible and what is not. It pushed me to explore the depths of my own abilities, to accept the eerie and the uncanny as part of my reality. This event made me question everything I knew. It was a stark reminder that the universe is far more complex and mysterious than we can ever comprehend. And in its unfathomable depths, there may lie abilities and phenomena that defy our conventional understanding. So, what does this all mean? That's the question we're left grappling with. The enigma of these personal experiences, these uncanny abilities, are they mere coincidences or glimpses into a reality we are yet to fully understand? Let's recap. We've journeyed through a multitude of experiences, from knowing the next song on the radio, to sensing the presence of the departed, and even foreseeing personal futures. These are not stories from ancient folklore or a sci-fi novel. These are real-life experiences from everyday people. We've seen how skepticism and doubt played a significant role. It's natural, after all, we're creatures of logic and reason. We thrive on evidence and explanations, yet these experiences defy conventional wisdom and understanding, pushing us to question the boundaries of our perception. We've delved into the pivotal event, the night that shifted everything. The inexplicable closed door, the bathrobes hanging in the faint nightlight, a seemingly ordinary scene that bore an extraordinary significance. It's these events that shake us, that make us question, and ultimately open our minds to possibilities beyond our normal comprehension. In the aftermath, we grappled with the impact of these experiences, how they changed lives, influenced decisions, and left an indelible imprint on the psyche, how they challenged the skepticism, and in some cases even transformed it into a newfound belief. So, what does this all mean? Perhaps it's a testament to the endless mysteries of the human mind and our connection with the world around us. Maybe it's a reminder that there's so much more to our existence than what meets the eye. Or maybe it's an invitation for us to explore, to question, to seek, to step beyond the realm of the known and venture into the unknown. To share our experiences, no matter how extraordinary or unbelievable they may seem. Perhaps we all have some hidden abilities that we are yet to discover. What's your story?